Ah! Hello?
Hi?
People can hear. Yeah, I just heard myself scream back at myself. It's always good.
Hello there.
Good
Are
evening.
we? Hello. Good evening.
Oh, Mr.
Oh, are you talking
Pyre.
to other people?
Are we? We're talking to other people?
What is just talking to you?
We can just talk and just pretend no one else is here if you want.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just-
But if there are other people watching, we should really welcome them
we
to
should.
episode 124
Oh, yes.
of Sit Talking Hobby with myself, Dom, and
And
this fellow.
I'll be Tom for this one.
Yep. And what we do essentially, for those watching this back or those who joined in now out of some weird coincidence, we basically sit here, we talk hobby, and hopefully we do some hobby as well, Tom. And hopefully you guys join us, have a nice hot beverage or a cold beverage, whatever your preference. So yeah. So without further ado, Tom, what hobby are you working on tonight?
Well, I'm doing some more
I
Black
mean,
Templar
I
stuff.
know.
I know you do. I'm also holding one of them in my hand, to be fair. It was fairly obvious when we started. But no, I am working on a Gladiator Valiant, but I have magnetized it so it can be all the variants, which was one of my things I did off stream, obviously. I have got the Knight still on the go, but because we have a team tournament coming up at the end of March, and these are part of that. So I've basically got an Impulsor here as well. And I also
Yep.
have another Gladiator Valiant here, which is going into my new look, new style list for the tournament. And yeah, but I need to get these painted for that. So that is what I am currently working on. How about thyself?
I am working on my Rhino still. Brum.
You'll finish it one day.
So yeah. Well, this is for the team tournament, I suppose.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he's definitely passable, as we were saying last week. He's got 3 colours on him. However, I might have to do a bit more work on him. But he is getting there. I have also ordered some bits for the team
yes.
tournament. We were talking a little bit before, and one of our teammates, I don't know if he's going to be watching this or not, but essentially he was flipping between doing demons and orcs or demons and chaos space marines. I've gone world eaters. And I was putting in an element of demons. So I was like, yes, cool. I've already got that guy. I'll put it in. And then suddenly he's like, no. I've changed my mind. I want to do demons now. So you can do something else. So I've got myself a couple more knights coming, which would be fun.
Yeah.
So yes, this guy at the moment, then some more models coming. And hello to everybody in the chat. What is everyone working on tonight? I'm doing very well, thank you, Neighborhood Inquisitor.
Indeed, as I am I would be the correct phrase, I believe.
That would be the English.
I know English is quite a tough language for me. It's only my first one, so
yeah, I've got to master it before we try any others.
Exactly. So I probably won't be for a long while. Oh yes, Mr. Felpart is actually doing his Hex Mock Destroyer for an entry into the competition.
Huzzah!
And I say competition for the challenge. I should say. Sorry, competition is quite a strong word. I don't want to frighten anyone off. It's
challenge.
Yeah, challenge. It's a challenge. And I better see it. And I better see it in the list next week when it all gets submitted. That's all I can say. I don't want to say, don't want to say anything, but
got a week.
But yeah, everyone's got a week, so don't waste your time.
Tom, will you be submitting your tank?
Which one?
The one you're currently working on?
I mean, I can do. It's not really. I don't know if it's really the theme.
Guns?
I mean, it's got a lot of guns on it. Okay, it's got a lot of melters on it. Does that count?
Yes, it's a gun. I think you should be submitting it, Tom.
But I'm doing 3 of them. I don't know. And I'm batch painting them.
Submit the one. You got to do one as a trial one, and
oh no, I don't trial. I know what I'm doing.
Right.
If I can push through it over the weekend, I will attempt to. Yes. If not, I will present it as a standard bit of work, and maybe as a video. I don't know. I feel like I need to do an update video for my Templars. It's been a little while.
I mean, a lot of Templar stuff's been put in, hasn't it?
Oh, I know. Yeah, I was thinking this the other day. It's expanded quite a bit, and I realised I think actually our last official video for anything related to army videos was actually on the 23rd of June last year. Don't know if that scares you.
I think we have painted a couple models
I
since.
think we have. But yes, so
Uh,
I will attempt to push it and see if I can get it done.
will you be pushing it real good?
Real good. Hmm. real,
uh,
if you go with real good treat.
and because I'm doing a bunch of work on my Redeemer when I get home today. Oh, nice. Also taking tomorrow off work, so I should get it nice. That's what I like to hear. Well done. That's commitment. Good
Yeah,
stuff.
I've got yeah. So I mean, obviously, I have the following Friday off as well, which I was going to do to sort of have finishing touches, hopefully. Because actually, yeah, I'm hopefully, well, I'm definitely hosting one person next weekend. I don't know if you've found out if you can make it or not yet, Dom. But don't worry for it. It was an open door thing, so it's kind of like if you're free, you know, I was just trying because it was trying to get some pre games in for everyone in the team if they wanted to test out stuff.
Yeah, and see
So,
how the army works. I mean,
yes.
it's always nice to get at least one game in
Yeah.
with a list before you're going to be playing it.
Yeah.
I say it jokingly, but unfortunately, more often than not, I have taken a list that I have not played at all to an event. It's like, I think one of them I was even painting like the moments before the game.
That was the last one, mate.
No, even worse when Warhammer World.
Oh, Warhammer World one. Okay, that'd been a while
Yeah,
ago.
yeah, I remember taking some models up there, and I was still essentially painting, doing little bits on them. So yeah, I've left it absolutely last minute
We've all
before.
done it. We've all done it. I think. Yeah. I mean, I think my last one before this one, I did quite a heavy 1 week session to try and get 10 sword brethren done, and the jump troops all at the same time, which just about managed. But yeah, it can get a bit stressful when you're in that situation because you're like, I don't want to let anyone down. I've got to make sure it's got at least some color on it. I can't just dip them because I'll be disappointed with that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, do you remember quick dips?
Yeah.
Oh, was that Army Paint, wasn't it? I think did that.
Yeah,
I
Army
think. Yeah.
painted it,
Oh
I think.
Christ. Yeah, dip your armies
Bloop.
and get your free shading. No effort required.
Well, you think contrast in some ways is very similar to that anyway.
Oh yeah, but I think with Contrastor you have that choice to go further beyond. I think, if you do contrast, you have that choice to go back and continue painting on it if you want. I think
Yeah.
when you dip things, I think with that, especially with that stuff, it was quite glossy, if I remember correctly, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was more of a
Yeah,
glossy kind of final kind of
yeah. So when you did that,
inky varnish.
you kind of finalised the look of it really,
Mm.
without respraying it. It's like back in the day when I used to use the hard coat on my Sisters of Battle.
Yep.
They were very odd.
Do you
No.
use any hard coat anymore?
No, not really. I don't tend to do any finishes on models apart from washes now.
It's an interesting conversation. So you don't use any at all?
No, I don't. I think the most I might go to is like the Lamia medium,
Mm-hmm.
which isn't really I suppose it's not really a varnish. It's more of a dulling agent for transfers. I think is the best way of describing it.
Oh, nice.
Which does actually work because when you put the transfer on, you normally have if you do it on a different coloured surface, you can normally see the outline of the entire
Yeah.
transfer. That when you put that on, it actually blends it with the background a bit better.
Yeah.
So I do use that occasionally, depending on because obviously a lot of my transfers go onto a white background, so it's quite when you have like a black cross on it stands out quite a bit, the edges of that. So yeah, I have done that typically.
What about people in the chat? Who uses hard coat or a form of varnish on their models? I, for instance, do use some on, like you said, pauldrons when you're putting on the old transfer.
Mm-hmm.
So then I'll put hard coat over that to make sure it's sealed in, and then put the medium on to take away the sheen.
Yes.
On that, but also, especially on chaos models, I'm sure it's the same for some marine ones. There's certain parts that will always kind of peel the more you touch them, so the paint will kind of start coming off. Like on the backpack of the Chaos Marine, you've got the backpack that comes out, and you've got the two little bits there, the vents. I
Yeah.
find myself that the paint comes off of those, so I end up kind of hard coating certain parts on particular models, or like horns
The
and
ones
tusks and
that
stuff like that.
have a problem area.
Yeah, exactly. So I kind of go, all right, where am I going to be picking this model up from? What bits are going to be kind of coming off? And I'll start hard coating those. And then just putting a medium to remove the shine.
Yeah, but that and obviously that works quite nicely. I think the medium does very good at shine removal.
Does indeed. Does indeed. Although sometimes the hard coat can be used as actually part of the model painting process.
Mm.
For instance, when I've painted commissars before, they have the part of they've got their flat cap
Yes.
and they've got the bit there, which I normally kind of did as a bit of a shine.
Okay.
So
Like
I've
it's
used
been
the hard
shined.
coat. Yeah, so I've used hard coat on there. You could use it on boots, I suppose, as well as like parade
Or
boots.
imagine doing that. Imagine making that decision on like a guard
Yeah,
troop army.
everyone's got shiny boots. Um,
um,
but yeah, it's pretty handy to have
so
anyway.
just going by some of the replies there. Felpar's been. Oh, sorry. Daniel Gardner, sup. Yeah, hello. Thank you for coming to join us, my friend. Buying a Repulse Execution of Redemptor Dread and 3 aggressors next week. That sounds like the starting to an interesting army. Obviously, definitely keep us informed on that one. Also, just as I did post it right after your comment, if anyone hasn't joined us in our Discord, there is a link there. Click that. Come and join Discord. Come and join the chats. Come do some painting challenges. Come and have a chat with the gang, etc., etc., etc. Yeah, love to see you there. Felpar says, I've been looking for a good spray of varnish for my Necron vehicles. Now they used to, yeah, I mean, they did the, there was a spray can you get from Games Workshop, which I think was the hard coat, wasn't it? I don't think it's called,
Yeah.
it's not called hard coat anymore, is it?
Well, I don't know about the spray, but the pot is still called hard coat.
Yeah, I wonder if it is still hard coat. Yeah, that's what I used to use, but I don't know if they've renamed it. But yeah, I know Games Workshop do one. And it's probably not the worst product, I'm going to guess, because it is designed for their miniatures. But then we've said this before.
I think with varnishes and stuff, I personally, is my personal preference, is that I like to be in charge of what I'm doing. And so a spray for me, I'm like, oh, that's taking that control factor way out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't just be applying it with a brush to particular areas. But I suppose if you want to do the whole vehicle, it's probably the quicker way of doing it.
It depends why you're varnishing it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day when metal models were the main thing, the reason you did that was to stop paint chipping. That was the whole reason behind it. You could get a slight shine off armor parts as well if that was your kind of cup of tea. That was another thing you could use it for. But yeah, it was mainly, I think, to stop paint chipping. So, a friend of goes, I'm going to be varnishing my Space Marines pretty soon. Haven't yet though. Cool. Good. Be interested to see how they turn out. Captain Jack, sorry, was time sensitive painting. Was going to say contrast is a good dip paint, and if I'm oil washing decals, have to varnish. Yep, that's pretty solid. Going to buy a good spray matte varnish. Yep, and I use the Velo stuff with the airbrush. Okay, cool. Not tried that myself, but that sounds cool. And Felpar says, I picked a poor paint scheme and have a green edge highlight on the vehicles. That'd be why painting is probably not good, I'm going to guess. But I don't know, but maybe that would be better. Maybe you should try one with paintbrush and then try one with a spray and see which one looks better. I know that can obviously have a slight side effect of you going, I like this one better, I'm going to have to redo this now. But
I mean, the case of Felpar there, you could actually just do the edges, hard coat the edges if you wanted to, if that's the bit you're worried about. Because I mean, generally, especially with vehicles, you don't really see that much chipping on them.
No.
Unless, of course, it's on purpose. But yeah, I mean, the edges, if you're worried about them, just chuck a little bit of hard coat on there.
To be honest, I don't see much chipping nowadays anyway. Just in general, I think the paints have got a lot better, and also the surfaces they're going onto. As long as you use a good base coat, it tends to stay on there quite nicely. From my experience, anyway.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like for me, a lot of my models, I don't know if you realise, are red, where yours tend to be black. So it's depending if you're using a black undercoat, it's like quite easy to hide any chipping.
This is true.
But when it's red, it's so obvious sometimes. It's painful. You might go another layer, another layer, another layer, and next thing you know, you just handled the model, and that layer's just gone right through to the black. You're like, oh, come on. So yeah, there you go, Felpar. You can have that one for free. But yes.
This is that would be easier. Goddamn, I've overthought this. That does sound like you, to be honest, mate. Overthinking things. This is something you do regularly. I'm just calling that out right now. Jack says chipping on metal models more like preventing it shedding its paint, like a snake shedding its skin. Yep, that. I mean, yeah, I do remember the days. Luckily, a lot of the stuff I started to get into, the only metal army, full metal army, was my Sisters of Battle army. After that, it was kind of the odd model here and there, because I got mainly into 40k for the second time when it was much more plastic orientated rather than metal, so I didn't really have to contend with that issue too much. But yeah, it did used to be a thing.
Did indeed. But the good old days of metal models. Yeah, so for instance, when I've got a metal model to paint, yeah, we'll be varnishing the bejesus out of it to make sure it doesn't go. I'm trying to think the last one I did. I think the last proper metal model I did might have been my Orc Blood Axe mech, wherever he is. He's back there somewhere. Oh, he's over there. And yeah, lots of varnish went onto him to make sure just that. Like the minute I touch him, paint doesn't just shed off like feathers off a bird. So yes,
yeah, I think
definitely.
the last one I did was probably my chaplain. That was quite a while ago now. The last metal chaplain I bought. But I haven't varnished him. He seems okay still, so I'm going to take a risk. Say there, yeah, that's right, risk.
Crazy times. However, I have got a couple of metal models here that I keep looking at. Like, for instance, I've still got the old Katachan captain with the power fist. That guy.
Oh yeah, he's a classic.
And I'm like, look at him. I'm like, oh, I'd love to redo him someday because he's such a cool model. I remember seeing him. I think I was at school still, and he came out, and I was like, oh my god, he's so cool.
Just for everyone here, that was quite a while ago for us.
Yes. Also, I did try that contrast blue out.
Oh yes, you mentioned this the other week. How did you find it?
Yeah, I don't know how well it appears on camera, so I might just put a picture on Discord. I'll do one now, actually. I really liked it. It's turned out quite tasty.
Did it save you time?
Well, I've only done it on a trial Chaos Space Marine, but it would definitely save me time if I was to do an Alpha Legion army or the Executioners.
Which one's it going to be then?
I don't know. Well, I've got plenty of Chaos Space Marines.
Why not both?
Well, Tom, why not both? Let me just chuck that in chat.
Yeah, it's not like it's an expensive hobby anyway, you know, but just do 2 new armies.
What blue? It was the Storm Fiend. I'll put that in the. Sorry, I'll put that in Discord as well.
Oh, cool. I'll have a look in a moment.
Why not? But well, the thing is, Tom, I think about this for my World Eaters at the moment. I'm like, oh, cool. I'll get some like. They love their demon engines. Mauler Fiends are quite fun, but I've also got 3 Mauler Fiends for my Word Bearers. And then part of me is going, oh, maybe I get some Forge Fiends. And I'm like, I'd quite like Forge Fiends for my Word Bearers. My poor World Eaters will be quite neglected.
Well, this is the problem I had when I had my Red Scorpion army. I kind of, like I said, the other week when we were talking about it, I kind of said, you know, that's on hold, really. And every time I do it, I was like, oh, do I really want to get more of the same models for a different army?
Yeah.
Yes, it would. Yeah, I mean, the color scheme's different, but ultimately it's the same. It's the same deal. So, you know, for me, I was trying to. I think I'm going to keep that as a theme-based army. So I'm probably not going to expand on that too much more now, and because it's just duplicating stuff that I have already. It's just quite a nice little. I like where it is. It's kind of set in stone now, and that's it. You know, kind of happy with it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think the thing is, when you start an army, you have this idea of how it's going to be themed.
Mm-hmm.
So way back in the day, like when we first started the channel, I had my World Eaters, which the theme was everyone's running, no one's got a vehicle, we're just going to run towards the enemy. Fun theme. And then I started my Word Bearers, mainly because I like the paint scheme. And the theme was everyone is going to be riding around. We're going to have lots of vehicles, happy days. And gradually, as you expand your army, you go, oh, well, quite like the idea of having a jump element to the army. Or quite like having a big mob of cultists. Or I quite like having lots of marines, or blah blah blah. And say your force gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And then to start another army after that, you're like, well, I've already got that for my word bearers. Like, what unique thing, for
Yeah.
instance, for Alpha Legion, what unique thing can I put into the Alpha Legion that I wouldn't have in my word bearers, or I can't justify having that?
And the answer becomes there's probably not a lot you could choose from, because it's ultimately you normally get everything for one of the armies you've got, even though you go with that theme initially. It just
Yeah.
because you're like, oh, I quite like this army, I'm going to add to it, and it just becomes a constant adding session. You know.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a nice easy one for you would be if you started another Marine army. Let's say, let's not say Imperial Fist. Let's say Raven Guard.
Yeah.
You could then go. Actually, they're black. All right, let's find another one.
Salamanders.
Salamanders. You can go. Oh, I tell you what, I haven't got any psychers because black Templars don't have psychers. I'm going to chuck a load of psychers in there, and oh look, Salamanders have a special character. I'm going to get that special character and put him in my army. And so you can kind of justify it and go, oh, yeah, well, this would be very psychic heavy, and maybe I'll run with a theme of flamers. Let's pretend I don't have any flamers in my Black Templars. Oh, have you got the flaming?
No,
Marine?
I haven't got the Infernus squad yet, no.
Yeah, there you go. Look, that's something else you could have for him.
Yes.
If you did stuff. But anyway, you're not starting a Salamander army. But you see my point.
Am I not?
That you can kind of go.
Like you're telling me to.
Well, yeah, maybe I am telling you. So hints. Get a Salamander army. But you can kind of go down that route and go, I'll tick these boxes. But for me, like when I think of Alpha Legion, I'm thinking, what do they have? All right, they're very sneaky. I could probably get Cypher, convert Cypher up, have Cypher as the Alpha Legion leader, but use him as someone else. Maybe have some like Dark Apostles, maybe with cultists. And I'm like, well, I've already got that for my word bearers. I can't have that.
So it's a shame they don't have like a scout unit, really. That's the
it's a very like light infantry kind of themed. So it's quite a hard one, unfortunately. But if it's like Iron Warriors, I can kind of go down a different route with those.
Less demons.
Well, yeah, more Vindicators maybe. And Havocs.
And those lovely stripes you get to draw.
Yeah, maybe I'll avoid Iron Warriors. Although to be fair, I think of Iron Warriors, like you're playing easy mode a lot of the time anyway, because everything's metal. The only effort you really got put in is with the old
playing easy mode.
You are like, essentially you've got Necrons.
You hear that, Felpire? Easy mode on the Necrons as well.
Unless you decide to edge highlight everything in like bright green, then you're handicapping yourself there.
I heard he subs it out anyway.
Does he?
He just base coats and then subs the entire thing out.
I mean, base coating is pretty much most of it anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So he just pays the commissioners to say, can you just do the edge highlighting for me? That's
I like the term commissioners. What I think about is like Adam West Batman.
Oh God. Yeah. They paint as well, Dom. You didn't know this.
There you go.
They don't just deal with
crime. Batman's doing all the crime solving, so they can just sit there commission painting.
So yeah, they commission paint. Yeah, they're commissioners. There we go. That'd be a really cool name for a like a paint studio, actually. As in, like, if you're doing commission painting, we're the commissioners.
Commissioner Gordon's.
Yeah. And everyone, you can't reveal your face. and no, Sam, I jest, of course. Yeah, your painting is very good.
And I think the thing of Necrons, there is a lot to it. We do jest. It's not just completely easy.
It all depends on how complex. I mean, yes, Black Templars are really easy.
Spraying it black, you're pretty much there. You got white pauldrons done.
Oh, unbelievable.
I've got friendly. But Iron Warriors. Oh, come on. Do you have those pesky freehand yellow stripes? Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
They're a bit pesky.
You can't not do them, in my opinion, for an Iron Warrior army. I think you have to commit to doing it if you're going to do an Iron Warrior army, because it is kind of one of their core themes, isn't it?
And they do look cool.
Yeah, especially if you can pull them off. I mean, a lot of people use the tape trick, don't they, where they sort of put the tape on the large areas.
Yeah,
I think
that's a good idea.
Oh yeah, no, honestly, I think if you're going to do it, that's exactly how I would plan to do it as well.
Especially when you've got tanks and stuff, you want to keep it all the same size. You want to be, using those.
Get a nice template, and away you go.
Absolutely.
Ooh, right. Oh, no. Okay, I've just made a small mistake there, but we'll come back and sort that out in a second. Luckily, this particular level of highlighting, the mistakes don't show up too much, so because it looks almost like the base coat at the moment, but it's worth it, right?
Exactly.
You've got to tell yourself that all these layers that you do are 100% worth your time.
Yeah, people are going to notice. They're going to say, "Wow, look at that! That looks really good."
Nobody's going to know. I always hate it when
like
you
someone to have to take that extra bit of time to look over someone's army properly and compliment them. And go, "Oh, they look really cool." Occasionally I get it, but most of the time people are like, "All right, what you got?" Like, oh, just look.
Do you know what, mate? Actually, I've noticed in the last few tournaments we've been to, that doesn't ever really come up nowadays.
Well, I think the thing is, it depends on the mentality of the people you're playing. Like, for instance,
for sure.
If you're playing someone and they have obviously taken a lot of time in painting their army, they will have a look at your army and go, "Yeah, they look quite cool." And you go, "So yours, how do you do that?" And you might have a bit of that like hobby focus together. Yeah, we're not going into the Mome Fest we had last week.
No.
But you will get some people that will take a bit of.
I just personally thought recently that everything I've been to, it kind of lacks that. I think it was lacking the. I think when we used to do them, I think you'd almost guarantee at least one game you played, there would be a kind of oh, that looks really cool. How'd you do that kind of thing, But yeah, as you said, don't want to go into what we went through last week because we'll just get angry again, mate, and then we'll upset some people.
Oh, also, I mean, it is an interesting point of conversation is that it depends where you're going as well. Like, for instance, the last one we went to, like, if people are getting like ITC points, etc. I mean, you get them pretty much everywhere now. But if you went to Warhammer World, I would think that you would have more people looking at your hobby and enjoying your hobby. If you're going to an event which is just purely kind of like, this is a competitive event, this is how all blah 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 blah, people are going to be more focused on that.
Yes.
So I think it's like what your audience maybe is slightly different.
No, you're probably quite correct. See, I just choose to paint a good Legion, which thankfully cancels out Iron Warriors. No one's doing Iron Warriors. We're okay. We're not doing it. We'll do a joint Iron Warrior army, Dom.
But I would love to do Iron Warriors.
Well, I've got all these Chaos models that are currently Night Lords style,
Well, the thing about Iron Warriors is they are a cool Legion. Like, I think, like, listening to the Siege of Terror stuff, I was like, yeah, they are cool. And I think also, I think about all the Legions and how I'd theme an army about the Legions. And I'd love to do a really gritty, muddy siege army with the Iron Warriors. Lots of combat weapons, some old like medieval kind of shields and stuff chained on to the tanks. Mortars, all sorts going on. And it'd be a lot of very...
I think you'd have to dip into the 30k arsenal of tanks to make it look good.
100%. You would have to be embracing that part of the hobby. Because also, like, it'd be very hard to have an Iron Warrior themed army that is competitively good. That you'd have to be a No, I mean, they've got nothing unique about them. Like, Word Bearers, thematically, you've got Possessed. Possessed are pretty cool. Black Legion obviously have a bad... But I'm thinking like Iron Warriors, there's nothing unique about them. They don't really embrace mutation or possession. So you'd have to kind of go down the route of...
But they take care of the weaponry.
Yeah, exactly. So I think, yes. I think maybe Iron Warriors are a hobbyist.
Which is why I thought, the 30k thing would be good, because I think if there was any Legion to still have a lot of their gear from that age, it would definitely be the Iron Warriors, because they love to take care of their stuff.
They do. They're very caring about their tanks.
Metalheads.
Not so much about their cultists or their...
No. I mean, they use them to
anyone else?
I mean, like physically clean the tanks with them.
Yeah, just wipe them up.
Pick them up.
Should use a should use a sponge, but I'm gonna use this guy.
He's much more absorbent.
Yeah.
Just strain this liquid out of him. Hang on a minute. Oh God, no! But not get into that conversation. Go into go back to how the life of a servitor again in a minute.
Oh yeah, or the cultists. Yeah, happy days.
Oh God, no.
We have had some interesting conversations on here, haven't we?
Yeah, candle carriers.
Yeah.
Oh, imagine what the candle budget on a Black Templar ship and a word bearer ship would be like.
Insane. Absolutely
just
insane.
like, you know, like I wonder if there's any ships in the word bearers fleet where they sort of go, oh my lord, we're out of candles, and then they sort of
no. I reckon word bearers 100% make candles out of cultists.
Melt them down, get the wax out.
Yeah, exactly. There's got to be all that body fat. Melt them down. Happy days.
We're out of candles, sir. Open the vats.
Yeah. Bring me a child. I want to make a candle out of a
my
child.
God. Okay, we've gone down that route. Jesus Christ.
But they must be so hot though, those ships, like especially Black Templar ones, because you see pictures and artwork of like marine shrines. Yeah. A Black Templar one must be absolutely insane. And the problem is Black Templars and word bearers to a degree love to wear robes.
Oh yes.
Like how many of them have incinerated themselves
even without armor
for a candle accident?
Bring me my robe.
Yeah.
I have it just like you imagine. They're probably the only ones that have an extensive wardrobe of them. Like they have a dress robe for a special occasion.
Yep. Yeah, and the thing is, they love to get close, and I can imagine Black Templars, more than Black Templars would love to like have a little smoochie on a shrine of Dawn, like kiss his feet or something, leaning over this like insane amount of candles, like oh kissy kissy, oh I'm on fire, I literally set myself on fire, kissing the Emperor's feet.
I mean, Sisters of Battle aren't that much better, to be fair. They probably got quite. They're also another
candle-loving faction.
But yeah, it's one of those weird things you never think about, the logistics of the amount of candles that they burn.
Some people don't think about them, Tom. That's why I think people tune into this channel, that we have these random little tidbits of information.
And is there a world dedicated to candle making? There must be. Like in the Imperium, there's going to be a world where their tithe is just the candles that they make.
I reckon the Shrine Worlds will kind of make an abundance of candles, because if you're like a Imperial scholar, or not scholar, like a preacher, and you're going to buy a candle, you're not going to buy a candle from Cadia. I mean, you can't anymore.
No, not anymore.
But from a Shrine World, you'd be like, oh, this was made by Sisters of Battle, or some holy flagellants. Let me buy some candles. They're scented. They're scented candles.
Corpse
flesh.
They'll
be corpse flesh. So yeah, I reckon there is an industry in candles. I mean, I don't think the planet would purely make candles.
Oh, come on, man.
But it would definitely be in the top.
You've got to do the math on this, dude. You've got to do the math on this. All right?
Percentage of
if there's even if you take a small Black Templar chapter, I mean, they say we're only 1,000, but I reckon we've got close to 10 times that amount. And you take the amount of candles they burn a day in their shrines. So I can imagine.
No. Well, I suppose the equivalent would be if you look at the Earth as it is, and you split up what people are making. Like, let's say people on this particular planet aren't having to research nuclear fusion, and they're not really that bothered about making naval ships. However, they're all hung up on making candles. So there's candles of all, and also people who on this planet make candles already. Candles all over the shop. They'll be making candles left, right, and centre, different sizes.
So you reckon there's a group of people out there that have devoted their entire life to making the perfect long burning candles. Yes. That's it. That's what's happened. Yeah. So it's like, don't worry about the food or the money or anything like that. We want long burning candles because
and the the wide selection of candles that'll be available on these planets. Like you Google candles now, and there's lots of different types. Let alone if a whole planet was if a high percentage was dedicated to making candles.
Imagine looking from the orbit.
Imagine
looking from orbit. You just see like a. Is that planet on fire? No. Every citizen has a candle. They got rid of torches ages ago.
And we're kind of joking along, saying, word bears are terrible because they melt babies to make candles. But I'm guessing like there's only so many resources on the planet before you have to start looking at babies and going, we can make some candles. We can make some candles out of this baby. And also, it's the 41st millennium where they're like, well, I'm actually, you can only have one kid. So I'm afraid if you've got a second kid, that's candle making material.
Oh my god. Okay. I think we need to steer you away from this subject.
I don't think you understand how brutal the 41st millennium is,
Oh
Tom.
no, I really do. I mean, I've read the stuff about the demon. It's the demon children, whatever they're called, when they do some horrific things like birthing them, don't they, or something like that. It's I know some of the cultists, some of the chaos, supposedly they grow them, don't they, and stuff. And I'm trying to know what the name of them is.
See you later.
See you later, Red. Also, one of the thoughts I always have when painting purity is how do they survive battles? Flamethrower squad. I reckon they're treated.
Yeah, well, Tom, funny you should say that because I'm listening to Fall of Cadia at the moment.
Oh yeah.
And there's so it goes into different factions. There's one of Sisters of Battle, and one of the canonesses. She's just had a little battle, and she does go. She's saying a lot of her stuff is fire retardant, but she then has a member of her squad reapplying purity seals after a particular fight. So I'm thinking they must have them on standby a lot of the time. They're just like reapplying them, like as they're having a debrief. You just have like a sister going, "Oh,
no, I don't think they're there. I don't think they go. Oh, they're just there, like little people. They're people you don't notice them. They're just literally they're walking around with a bandolier of purity seals. They just sort of go, "Oh, you're missing one. Slap." Slap.
Maybe.
Just. What's your job? Well, I'm the purity seal placer. I just do that all day.
But what really. You mean like at a party or a wedding reception? Someone handing out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just
literally handing out purity seals.
They're really short. You don't
purity seal for that guy.
They'll have a comm system and everything like so. The commander's computer seals fallen off. Get it back on quick.
Yeah. Did you find the salamander marine on table 4? Doesn't have a purity seal. Can we get a couple made from him?
But he didn't want it. Just nope. Stick on his back. He has to have one. It's. Oh dear.
I mean, applying purity seals to a salamander, that must be the most thankless job ever. At least the Black Templar would appreciate it, I think. A salamander would be like, oh, thank you, little neophyte, or thank you, little servitor, for your purity seals. I'm literally going to walk into this room of fire. I'll be back in a moment. Just like, what am I bothering this
I'll
for?
have the replacements ready, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm trying to think of other useless jobs that would be in the 41st millennium now. There's got to be a few that we haven't even touched on in that brief conversation. I mean, when you have a world when you have like an empire as big as they do, they just must have absolutely like, so they must go, should we automate this? No, we've got plenty of people. We'll just get these guys on, get these guys doing this. You don't need to automate it. It's far too expensive to put servitors on it.
I mean, the thing is, that's the thing about the 41st millennium. Like, you don't need to automate a lot of stuff because the thing you have is manpower, and you don't have to treat them particularly well because you just turn them. Just turn them into candles if they disagree. Oh, you're on strike, are you? Okay, now you got
come this way.
Point.
Come this way.
Yeah, we should give you a longer break time. I absolutely agree.
New break room through these double doors.
Yeah, melting vat. That's just the name of the cafeteria.
It just peels off the door.
Yeah. Climb in. Go into the melting vat. Talk all about your rights there.
It's a new bar we've opened, the melting vat.
Yeah, it's a cool bar we have.
Because you think about things like like bars as well. Obviously they must exist, but I mean, what level do they exist? Because it can't be that much fun. Yeah, because you don't really see that side of you don't really see that opulent side a lot of the time when you're reading novels. I mean, you get the odd one. I mean, obviously if you've read Eisenhorn, he's gone to see some pretty cool, like high up individuals that have these like worlds completely dedicated. And they're just taking so much advantage of the populace. With by taking as much wealth as possible, but not most of the time it's just a horrible place to live. So whether you either join the army or join the production line, that's pretty much your choices from that standpoint.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose the note would be, it's a bit like how it is at the moment. So you go up to, let's say, London, you can find a lovely fancy bar. It would charge you a silly amount of drinks for a silly price for a drink. Or you might go to Somalia where there's a shed, but they're giving you like some homebrew stuff for nothing. So
Yeah.
it's kind of, it'd be just like that, wouldn't it? On
Hmm.
a fancy uphive situation, be amazing. But in the slums of a underhive,
Yeah, I think
you're
that
going to be
was Jack was just
drinking.
Necromunda and Rogue Trader books. Show some interesting sides to 40k because a lot of that stuff kind of gets glossed over in a lot of the literature. You don't really
Yeah,
see that the standard human. I'll tell you what, that's one thing that the what was that series on the animated one, Hammer and Bolter. Yeah, they did a couple of good ones in there, and also that
yeah,
the one with the interrogator.
yes,
That
yeah. I
that
was going to
that
say, yeah, there's a
that
bit
showed a
there.
really good side of that kind of part of what I think that's actually why I quite enjoyed it, is because it wasn't the standard stuff that you sort of see. It was that kind of fleshing out of stuff going on, which you don't necessarily see all the time. Because obviously a lot of it's about big battles and stuff like that, where you get. There's also, I like the Eisenhorn novels as well, because they kind of focused on, they focused on some quite big things that were going on, but they normally getting to there and doing investigations. They went through these places that you wouldn't typically read about or see when you're playing the tabletop, kind of version of it. Because we obviously remember this whole there's only war, but there are other things that go on. It's just you don't see them. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, one of the crime ones, the 40k crime ones, it's got some good little bits behind the scenes that you wouldn't even think about. Just trying to find it now.
Yeah, yeah. There's in the animated series one, you mean,
No,
or
the
book,
the the books,
the
the
books?
books. Yeah, Bloodlines
I
by
haven't.
Chris Wright.
Not seen that one or heard that one, I should say.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a bit like Captain Jack saying about like Necromunda.
Yeah,
Uh, it's kind of just sees the other side of things.
yeah. But yeah, and I haven't read any Rogue Trader books for Jack, so I can't comment on that one. So, um, yeah, I do have. No, I haven't. No, I'm trying to think if there's anything that I've got a bit out of the normal reading material for it. I mean, I said I think some of the Harry Bolter ones are worth watching for that kind of aspect of it, because they delved into different parts of society as well. I thought the Zinch library one was quite good in that way, to show
Oh
that
yes,
so
yeah.
you kind of look like you're acting completely normal and all that, and then suddenly it's like, oh, hang on a minute, there's chaos here. I thought that did a very good exhibition of showing how chaos can creep in, because you obviously sort of go, oh, watch out for chaos. Oh, we are watching out for chaos. It could be anywhere, but yeah, we know. And then it's like, oh, it's been in the books I've been reading every day. I just didn't realise it.
Yeah,
Because it's very insidious. And I like those kind of things, because I think people maybe don't get how chaos works in the 41st millennium, because it's like, oh, it's only chaos, just avoid it. But you could be on a planet which is doing something that seems quite normal. Um,
yeah.
I think it was also that Albert Hammer and Bolter one with the Tyranid invasion,
The Gene Stealer
the
cult.
Gene Stealer cult, because that caught me a little bit off guard at the end, actually, because I was like, oh,
Yeah,
hang on a
yeah. That
minute,
was quite a good one actually, wasn't
hang
it?
on, that was the better, yeah, because I'm not gonna. I mean, to be honest, there hasn't been any new animations out for a while now, has there?
There's one coming out soon that I saw the trailer for.
Hmm.
Trying to think of what it was. With knights involved against
Oh,
Chaos Knights.
okay.
I can't. If anyone in the chat knows what I'm talking
Yeah.
about, chuck it
Unfortunately,
in there.
I don't know, because it's one of those.
But the trailer looked really good for it, so I was like, oh, actually, I'm looking forward to that one because that would be quite interesting.
Because I will
You
admit,
know,
I think the only reason I keep the subscription nowadays is just for the app. Now,
yeah,
I wouldn't say I keep it for the animation side of things, because I mean, you can probably agree, Dom, that there's not been an awful lot of movement on animation in the last 6 months or so. It's been fairly quiet, really.
no,
Overall,
I would say maybe the quality's gone up, but definitely you're not seeing as much of it as we'd
no,
particularly like.
or as we've been
But
led to believe. But that's another
yeah,
story. But I know it's a very expensive thing to do. Um, and I suppose that the issue is that they've gone into it and promised a lot and maybe under delivered a little bit. Um,
absolutely. Right, well, I'm going to do that copper.
What's that there? So Cat Jet says the first Indomitus book was good for showing how Nurgle creeps in. The guardsman in the medical place is really creepy.
Oh yeah.
I
Yes, that's a good one.
I haven't. I haven't read any of those ones actually.
Yeah, they're quite good.
I should probably go and check them out because I haven't. I always tend to see most of the 40k. Well, I see not in 40. I read a lot of. I think I've read so much 30k. I've got into that kind of habit of not checking out the 40k base books as well.
The problem I have with the 40k ones over the 30k ones, well, a tiny percentage of the 30k. The 40k ones, the problem is, in my opinion, the quality is all over the place. That sometimes you'll come across one where you're like, oh, this is really good, and other times you're like, questionable how good this one is.
Yeah,
But when it's come to the Horus Heresy, and particularly like the Siege of Terror, I think Black Library and Games Workshop have been very good at kind of pushing it in a certain direction and having a certain narrative and
yeah.
standard.
It was quite cohesive in the fact
Yeah,
that because
exactly.
they had a goal and because I suppose when you get all the writers on board with that same goal, it's
Hmm.
fairly easy to keep that kind of that narrative going because they know the end point. They just know and they're just saying, look, we need to get from here to here. Use your writing style, which we think would be good for this particular book, and
Yeah,
do something. But obviously, here's some key points that you shouldn't do because obviously they probably had. I imagine they must have had red lines that they couldn't mention. You know, because
I think there was a lot of interaction between the
yeah,
authors where, like, they're going, Abnett might go to ADB and go, look, I'm going to be covering this element of the Night Lords,
yeah,
which I know are your thing, or Black Legion, or Sons of Horus. Um, just so you know, this is what I'm doing. What's your input on it? And they might cooperate and do stuff like that, which is quite good. But I think also a lot of these authors it's like their first venture into Black Library. So
mm,
sometimes it is very dubious where you'd go, I don't know who this author is, but if it's by Abnett, for instance, uh, I know it's a safe bet. So I'm going to go with that
yeah.
one.
I don't think I've read many. I will say that his the middle Siege of Terror ending finale book was a bit of a slog, even for him, and I feel that maybe wasn't his doing.
No,
I think he was asked to sort of look. We need to make this a trilogy.
had it, had it.
It was the Hobbit effect. You know, we can do three movies. There's enough content in here. this one.
Although I'd like to think, like with the Hobbit effect, I would think if they were writing the books back then and they went to Tolkien, they went, right, okay, we're going to pad this out to 3 books. He would give it a good try to make it an entertaining 3 books rather than go to Peter Jackson, right? This book, right, by this genius of
Yeah,
Tolkien. You need to make 3 films out of that. I'm not going to give you any extra material. Just go for it.
make some stuff up. Break some law,
Yeah.
and
There's a theme park opening up where people be riding in barrels. If you could chuck that in somewhere.
yeah, we want to sell that big at Disneyland next year.
Yeah.
But no, but yeah, and yeah, they're also. I mean, I also find that a lot of stories and stuff it does tend to, especially authors as well. They go through like phases of you'll see a lot of really cool stuff about it, and then they'll do some, I suppose, some maintenance writing as well. You
Mhm.
get the books that are kind of they're good, but they're not like because I found that with I suppose ghost novels. I
Mhm.
do like them, but I think when I got about a certain number of through, I think when I read about the 11th one or listened to the 11th one in a row, you kind of like going, okay, this is like I get it.
I get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
you're not going to die.
And yeah, Captain Jack has come up with a bit of a trump card there that we call back to occasionally.
To be
Um,
fair, yeah, that
Abnett wrote the
now I
Augury.
am going to say that I didn't actually find anything too horrible with the plot. I think the execution was awful, as we discussed, I think the other week. Because they had a brilliant voice cast. Um, if you took that same storyline, admittedly, it's not. I wouldn't say it was the strongest storyline, but if you took it but you put on, I don't know, the animation from Avatar as an example, you could probably win. I think it would do quite well in comparison because you'd have, I think a level of forgiveness because the animation was so good, but because the animation was so poor, even the story would struggle to save it. Yeah, because it was. I think actually what they would have been better doing is gone a bit more cartoony with it, if that makes sense. Go a gritty cartoon style, and it would have probably, because the cost wouldn't have been insane then, especially that year when it was done, because must have been when was it, 2011, 12, something like that.
I don't know. But Tom, I know you watch it quite frequently. So I might get this wrong, but I
Yeah.
do remember the Chaos Space Marines had some amazing quotes in there, which is essentially "Ah, ah, ah," and that was about it. And I was like, come on, you can do better writing than that.
Well, okay, that's true. But then how much? I suppose I'm going to say he wrote it, but how much do you reckon got put in or save budget or time?
I don't know. I don't think they would have cut something like Death to the False Emperor. That would have.
Oh yeah, no, little things. Yeah, okay. I will concede that. Yes, that was pretty. I think they obviously. I suppose what my point was, they focused quite a lot on the starring cast rather than trying to maybe flesh out the big bad at the time. But maybe that was the directive. I don't know how much. I suppose you got to ask how much control he has over. Yeah, he might have been asked to write a certain thing and then he didn't get a lot of creative control over it. You don't know, do you?
Maybe if someone ever interviews him, we should.
I think it'd be interesting to find out actually. You know, if what he thought of it genuinely. I mean, he won't ever probably say that because I imagine he probably has a similar opinion to what we have of the film overall.
Classic.
Classic. I've kept it. I'm gonna keep it so that I can bring it out when I'm 90 years old if I get that far, and I'll go, Dom, if you're still there, let's sit down and relive this memory.
I'll be like, of course we can, Tom. Do you have a DVD player? And you'll be like, no.
Then I'll load up YouTube and it will still be there because you can watch the whole thing on YouTube.
God, no.
And I've noticed it's not been taken down still, so I assume it hasn't got a lot of
Yep. Not many people moaning or complaining about it.
Maybe it was a different Dan Abnett. Well, you never know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let me have a look actually because I'm curious. Give me 1 second. I'll get my phone out and have a quick look at if there's any other writers on the project. Because you know, some of these people use their big headline name to pull in people, but then actually,
were there any other scapegoats?
Yeah, exactly.
That Dan Abnett is now thrown under the bus.
It was 2010, by the way. It came out just for reference as well. Just found that.
Okay. Good times, good times.
Bizarrely, on Amazon, it's currently scoring a 3.9 out of 5.
Wow. In the grand scheme of things, that's not that bad.
I know. I was going to say it's bizarre. Let's see here. So it does say the screenplay was written by Black Library author Dan Abnett, produced by Bob Thompson, David Kearney. Cinematography. Oh dear, don't know. Ruin.
Gone on to do Avatar.
Gone on to do Avatar. Let's have a look at who did the animation? These image metrics animated facial capture techniques. They did not work very well. Just having a look through the. Since intended to dispatch the film to their no, there's really not a lot of stuff in here. To be fair, I think it's probably not unsurprising. Okay, do you want to have a guess at how much it earned in the domestic home video sales?
I'm not going to say a million. It can't have made a million.
No, you're right there. Go on.
I would say £50,000.
No, it was actually more than that, but it was
really
$225,000.
Wow,
that is terrible. It's interesting because they put related articles up, and I've just seen Warhammer 40,000 Fire Warrior come up underneath here as well in 2003. I imagine that was probably more popular.
Well, that's a game.
Yeah, I know it was a game, but obviously it did have a plot.
Actually, I did like Fire Warrior.
Yes, it was. Yeah. It was good. It was good. I remember playing it. I can't. I actually genuinely can't remember much about it, but I'm going to see now. Let's see if we can try Ultramarines movie. Dan Abnett interview. Let's see if he did one. You never know, he might have done one of these.
No, I'm not interested in one that's from 2010, promoting the film.
No, I know. I'm just having a look if there's anything after that. Now, unfortunately, it looks like a lot of these are around the 2010 mark, I'm afraid. So no, I suspect all of them are going to be very much.
Oh yes, really exciting project.
It was really good. I really enjoyed doing it. It was one of my best pieces of work.
Yeah. No, I highly recommend everyone goes to watch it at least once.
So, okay, how many people are still sitting in here, and have you got on with all your painting this evening? I want to know what you've been doing. I've managed to do my almost second layer of edge highlighting. So,
I'm working away on this rhino. Just putting like the side bits on.
Oh, nice.
Shiny. There you go.
Comes up weird on camera. I know it doesn't look like that, by the way.
Very shiny. Well, it's very shiny.
Yeah.
Until, well, look at that. It's almost mirror edge.
It's almost mirror edge. I was going to say.
But it's once you put the wash on it, it tends to like mute it quite a bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Can't find anything. So, waiting for bits to dry. Yeah, that's basically what I'm doing now because I don't like to start another edge run until it is properly dry because I've done that before and it kind of bleeds sometimes because I do them quite wet on the first one. So that's probably my painting done for the moment for tonight.
Well, I think almost at that point. What's the time?
Yeah, I think it's almost 9 o'clock actually, bizarrely.
Yeah, we've done it
rather quickly. Well, we'll have to try and do a marathon stream, Dom. That's what we need to do.
Yeah.
Do like a 12-hour one, mate.
12-hour stream.
Where we pick a model and have to finish it in 12 hours.
Absolutely.
No? Not off that?
Well, no, that's fine. I can always come around and bring you drinks and stuff and refreshments as you do it.
Oh, I see what's happened here. I see it's become my problem.
Absolutely, completely. Yeah, that's a good idea, mate. You should definitely do it.
I should definitely do it. Yeah, excellent. I'll get right on it, mate. I'll plan it up. Okay.
Well, I'll hang up. You carry on.
If you're not round in 20 minutes with a drink, I'm not going to be happy.
Well, if you're going to stream for 12 hours, I would happily bring you a drink in a moment. I'll jump in my car, come over.
I'm not sure how we'll be at work tomorrow. I think I might be a little bit zapped for that. So I think I'll.
No, Tom, you wouldn't be at work, would you? Because you'd still be like streaming away.
No. Oh no, I would. Yeah. No, I can work it. I can work it. I can get in for work for 10. That's fine. I just got to work a bit later. Okay.
Well, there you go. Tom will be streaming.
No, I'm not doing that, by the way, guys. So that's definitely not on my own anyway. What we'll do is we'll get some of you guys down, and we can cycle you in as guests over a 12-hour period.
Yeah. Be absolutely fine.
I'm sure
everyone will be happy with that arrangement.
Yeah, I'm sure there wouldn't be any insanity ensuing from when your brain starts to go a bit insane after that. So I've seen it on other ones.
Yeah, people go mad.
But yes,
yeah, they blame you. Imagine having to talk for 12 hours constantly. Like people would just go, you'd be, oh, thank goodness, like Captain Jack's gone to bed now. It's only been 3 hours. I can have it. And then someone instantly logs on. You're like, oh god, now I've got 3 more hours of this.
Then at the end of that, Captain Jack comes back again.
Yeah, and it goes.
Sorry to use you there, but you are currently in chat, I believe. So just waiting for a comment now. Waiting for it.
Yeah.
Waiting for it.
It's gonna be cheeky.
It's gonna be cheeky. Or nothing. Maybe he's gone. He said, "Oh, do you know what? I don't need this. These guys.
Yeah,
I come here every week to listen to these guys. I'm a loyal supporter. If we ever do open up like a membership thing, by the way, Jack, I'm gonna give you a free membership. All right,
Tom, we need to talk about that because that will literally be our only membership. You're literally giving it away for free. If anything, we should up the cost.
We can give them a free membership at a set price and then increase the price. That's what.
Yeah. Unfortunately, due to cost of living, we've had to
increase it by 700%.
Yeah, significantly. If you do not reply to this email, we'll do it automatically.
We go here. So when I was teaching some of the days where me teaching the same lesson to 6 classes back to back, I can do your marathon jibber jabber. See, I tend to have some. I need to have something to talk about. For me, I'm not very good at the whole small talk and continually speaking thing. I can waffle a lot if I have something that is waffleable, but not. It would probably become more irritating, mainly to myself, I'd imagine as well.
It's hard work.
But thank God you're here as well, Dom, because then we can both do this together. So that when someone off a little bit, it kind of picks the other person up.
Exactly.
What we probably start doing is scripts. You know.
Oh no, just I mean, the thing is, Tom, if we did scripts, we wouldn't be talking about candles, would we? We'd find something more reasonable to talk about.
Oh no, I'm talking about make scripts for this kind of stuff. We just write down a load of weird things in 40k, and that's what we talk about.
Yeah.
So maybe by next week we've got to come up with 3 things each that we think is weird in the 41st millennium, and that's what we'll phase our thing around next week, along with the painting hand in.
There you go. Happy days.
Prepare for going down a weird rabbit hole.
Yeah. Where we live.
It's where we live. We live at the dark rabbit hole of 40k land, where we find the subject is no one dares to talk about.
Making candles out of babies.
I'm not putting that as a subject, by the way. That would
Absolutely. How many candles would you make out of a baby?
But I think you have managed to probably, at least with the stream, it won't ever get flagged in the wrong category this time. So.
Yeah, no, that's true. Get out. Let's get to it. Right. Yes.
I think we'll
anyway.
Yeah.
Before we go down the rabbit hole again. So everybody, thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed the stream tonight or the video, remember, give us a like, give us a subscribe, tell a friend, tell the next person you see that likes 40k, come to Black Toast.
Or if they don't like it.
If they don't like it, someone really hate. And you go, look, you just got to persevere. Watch the whole thing, and at the end, they do something funny.
Don't do that, Jack.
Oh no, they're after us. I can hear it. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Indeed. I am Dom, and this guy over here.
I'm still Tom.
And we are Black Toast Studios.
We'll
and until next time, see you later.